The video today is a quick one on how to handle secrets management when you are tinkering around. In a production environment, you'll be using a solution to manage your envars, something like HashiCorp Vault most likely, maybe AWS's solution. When setting up a project, demo project, tutorial, anything around those lines, really we want to do things locally and we want to be able to iterate quickly, and that's what we'll go over. So if I want to set some envars for Docker building and pushing, for example, the simplest way to do it is something like this. Export Docker. My username. Then if I need to use that envar for something like a command where I log into Docker, I just run something like this. I'm going to call it. And then I see it there. But this only lives for this session. If I pop over to a new tab, I get nothing. New window. Getting crickets. This is where Direnv comes in. Taking a look at the docs over here. Let's just read it from the source. It's an extension for your shell. Augments existing shells with a feature that can load and unload environment variables depending on the current directory. The TLDR. It loads envars in the directory you are in. So if I have a project with Docker, Terraform, Kubernetes, whatever tools you're using, it makes it really easy to go back and forth. This is how I'd recommend utilizing envars for this setup. You can also hard code them. It's a lot easier if you have specific ones set up here with this, and you can use some best practices. You'll have a file, you'll know all the keys and values also to add to whichever secrets manager you're going to use once you're past testing and getting set up stage. So setting up Direnv. We're going to follow the instructions to set this up. Install link should be down here. I'm on a Mac. Typically, I'd use Homebrew, or a lot of times I would use Homebrew. I don't know about typically, but to be a bit more broad, we'll go ahead and do the curl installation. Copy this. There we go. If you have a more specific version or platform, you can check out the other releases. Just look out for the permissions and path that I've covered before and update your user bin. We will make sure it's there really quickly with, let's go user local bin. There we go. And there it is. Now that it is installed, we have to set up the hook to be able to use it. So that was back here. I'm personally using ZSH. I definitely recommend if you're in the market, I'll use that instruction, but if you're doing another, then you can go ahead and do the same thing with that. We're also going to go ahead and use Vim for this piece. Let's clear this. Vim is a text editor. It's widely used. It's also a nightmare at times. Saving, editing files can honestly be a doozy, but it is what it is, and we are just plugging along. You should already have it installed. I'm going to link the docs in the comments for those who might want to use more, or if you have another text editor that you choose to use, that's great too. But if you're looking for one, you're just going to use Vim. We're going to open up the ZSHRC file that the docs say right there. See a little squiggly guy in front of that directory. That just means we're going to start it at the home directory, and that's where the ZSH configuration file happens to live. Back home, vim-.zshrc. Great, and I am in here. Scroll down to the bottom of the config file and hit A. So you hit A. A is for add. It just means you can start typing. Add that text to the bottom of the config file. I'm going to scroll over here. Let's add this. And after you're done writing with the Vim editor, you're going to hit escape, let Vim know we're done for now, then hit colon WQ, which means save the file and quit the editor. We're going to quit, open up a new terminal, and then we're ready to rock. Right. Before setting all of this up, I want to run through just the format and setting up the gitignore for this so you don't accidentally commit any of this, these sensitive envars up. So let's create a couple Direnv files to start. So I have a scaffolding, really basic directory set up. So I could see a Docker file, I have a Helm directory, and I have a Terraform directory. They each have a file in them. So let's add the .direnv, the envars files. See the files are in there. I haven't actually approved it yet. We'll go through that in a minute. And at this point, if I hit git add, I can see the .envars files in there. So that would be where the envar is. I do not want to commit that up. And the same thing goes with the Helm and the Terraform. So that would be bad. So if you've hit git add too early, there is a way to remove the files before you commit with git remove -- cache. If it's one file, you can use git remove with the file name, but I'm going to run git remove recursively the whole thing too. So we'll start -- cached. Oh no. And then I can remove the whole directory with the dot here. Perfect. So git status, none of those. There we go. Nothing is committed. All right. So now let's create the gitignore. Ignore and git add, and I'm going to really simply just add the .envars to this file. Or git add. And you can see that it is not being committed. So that's good news. We definitely don't want those envars getting up to our repository. So setting up really what the video is about. Honestly, this is like the quickest part though. We'll quickly run through the setup for all of this, and we will start with the single directory and follow the instructions in the docs. So let me actually go back out of this demo. Touch Direnv. Make directory when I said touch. Simple, great. They have my project in there. I just happen to be a little more explicit with what I called it. Okay, great. There we go. So let's start with the echo. I'm just going to copy and paste actually. That's probably a smidge easier. So we see that the foo environment variable is not loaded. This is parameter expansion. Also, what's happening up here, I'll link to the docs there as well. But that's what that is, and there's a reason it's structured like that. We're going to create a new envars file. The file is bash code. It's going to be loaded by Direnv. So let's run echo export. There we go. Right, we see this is blocked. We can run Direnv allow to approve its content. That's what they say we should expect. We're going to run. Go ahead and allow it. Wow, wonderful news. The security mechanism doesn't allow the file, and we trust it. We're allowing the execution. So it's reloading. We see everything here. We see the plus foo. That's great. Now we see the foo envar is loaded. So let's. Wow, that is cool. So it's working and everything is as expected. Let's get outside the project. Make sure that's also working. It is unloading, which we also just saw there. And then we're going to echo the same thing. See, and there we go. So it is not in that directory. So it's only that directory we allowed it. That's cool. So now we're going to go to the skeleton project that we have built out. Let's see, Direnv, the demo. All right, this is the one with the gitignore. This is awesome. I have the files too, so let's go ahead and allow it. Allow, this is the whole thing. Cool, cool, cool. Let's actually just go ahead and open up the envars, or let's do this. Echo export number. Oh, if I could type. One VRC. So that's working. Let's go ahead and allow it again. And you see plus number there. We're going to go to the Helm directory. Add in export number equals 2. Export equals B. Cool. Out of this. Cool. That's working. Let's run Direnv. There we go. Letter number. So let's try it here. So echo B and 2, and then we'll get out of here. Echo, and that is 1. Sweet. So it's all working. That is good news. That's it. We're using Direnv to manage the envars locally. Again, these files will be useful when you also want to put them into Vault, whatever secrets manager you're using. I hope this all helps.